Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Menopause Made Easy. And we're going to navigate the journey of midlife wellness together to become more energetic, vibrant, in good health. And that is my wish for you. So I am your host, as always, Tanya. And today we're diving into a topic that's I hear a lot of people say, "Oh my God, Tanya, it's so expensive to eat healthy." And I'm going to break that myth. I really am. So I'm going to give you some strategies today to eat healthy on a budget and without breaking the bank. And we're going to also provide nutrition that's going to help to manage any symptoms that you may be having during your menopausal adventure, such as hot flashes or mood swings or your energy level or getting rid of that belly fat, because nutrition plays a pivotal role in our lives, especially during this perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause adventure. Okay, so I know food costs are rising. And how can we prioritize our health without overspending? So let's explore some practical strategies today so that we can eat nutritiously, uh, on a budget. Alrighty. So before I keep going, I wanted to share some of the products that I have been using over the years. And I want to take a moment to share. I'm just going to hold up one of the products I love here from Living Libations. This is one of my absolute favorite companies. I have interviewed Nadine. She is the founder of Living Libations, and they create products that are pure, potent, purposeful for your skin, hair, teeth. And I mean, I literally use and have tried everything. I have their dry brushes, their toothbrushes, their tooth products, the hair brushes, the shampoo, the conditioner, but I'm just holding up this beautiful oil that I also use every single day. So they're crafted with the highest quality botanicals and essential oils. There's no fillers, there's no synthetic junk. It's absolutely pure, beautiful, and it just feels and smells so good on my skin. There's not a perfumey smell, so it's just all natural. And I have to tell you, everywhere I go, people are always like, "You smell amazing." I love her essential oils as well. So you can go to livinglibations.com/vibrant living and you can explore their beautiful offerings. And if there's any questions that you have, please feel free to ask me and enjoy the products. Your body deserves it. Okay, so now let's go back to the importance of nutrition. Okay, so we want to make sure we're buying high quality food to support our nutrition. Oh, and before I continue, there's also a link because I am a precision nutrition certified coach. That I've also added a link in here that is going to give you a eat healthy on a budget infographic. Okay, so that's going to go over everything that we say here. So the first category they talk about is we need calories to meet energy needs, but it's nutrients that keep us healthy long term. So again, talking about those macronutrients, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and then getting that micronutrition of vitamins and minerals. So they do a really good job here of breaking that down for you and giving you some more information. So if you want to check that out, you can go right ahead. Okay, so that is nutrients. We really want to make sure that we're prioritizing whole food nutrition. I've done lots of episodes on that, so we're not going to stick on there today. All right, so making the most of your meals, like planning is your best friend. I've been teaching this for years, but 1 hour planning is 7 hours of productivity. So it's really so important to plan, and it's your best friend when it comes to budget-friendly nutrition. So if you can create a weekly meal plan or just have an idea of what you guys eat on a regular basis, you can really zone in to make healthier choices and reduce impulse buys when you're at the grocery store. So when you have a weekly meal plan and a list, because you've checked your fridge and your pantry to avoid buying, multiple, canned goods, produce, et cetera, et cetera. You're really going to go in knowing exactly what you need and what you want, and therefore you have less waste. Okay, so when shopping again, we want to focus on those. I've got my words all mixed up today. We want to focus on whole foods, the whole grains, the fresh produce, lean proteins, healthy fats, and they're typically around the outside edge of the grocery store, but they are getting smarter. All right, so just be aware. All right, so in this second part of this infograph here, they Precision Nutrition talks about some most expensive choices from a restaurant, the least expensive, or sorry, more or less expensive, where you can, go to the grocery store and buy prepackaged goods, and then homemade, like, having homemade chili as opposed to store-bought chili versus restaurant chili. All right, so, and I'll talk about this in a moment, but batch cooking one of my favorite things. All right, so super easy plan and meal plan and grocery list, and then buy the things that are on your list and avoid temptation at the store. Okay, so the third tip is buying in bulk and seasonal produce. All right, so purchasing items in bulk can lead to significant savings like beans, oats, lentils, rice. Okay, they have long shelf life. So buy the bigger packages and then store them properly. Okay, and they're much more cost effective. So just have a look at the things that you need and do that. And then the seasonal produce, right, is not only fresher but more affordable. So this, you're hearing this in August. I'm taping this in June. But there's the farmers markets are on, the CSAs. So I get CSAs. I go to the farmers market. I have an outdoor garden. I have some planters on my deck. I have a tower garden inside. So you don't have to start with all of those. Start with like the easiest thing. But seasonal produce is, like I said, fresh and affordable. So buy berries, right? And freeze them. Buy, listen, you can basically freeze everything. And then in the winter, you can make soups and stews with them, or you could even prepare those now and then freeze them so that you have them. I use these amazing containers. I should have brought them down here. If you want to send me an email to ask what they're called, I think they're called soup or something. And they're you just put the soup in there and it freezes it in blocks, and then I'll pop it out, and then I'm just grabbing a block of frozen soup. So the portion sizes are already there for you, instead of what I used to do is get a Ziploc and pour the cooled down soup into there, and then I'd have this big lumpy thing in my freezer. So this has made it more easier to store. It's made it easier for just grabbing servings. So that's something that you can look into as well. Okay, so that is that. So we really want, yeah, and also even buying meats in bulk are really good as well. So what I do is I'll buy bulk meats. I get them from my Eggman. I'm going to call him my meat man. I'll buy part of a cow or part of an animal and then just put it in my freezer, right? I also go to the butcher. I go to Costco. Occasionally, I'll get something from the grocery store, but I do like to buy in bulk and then divvy it up and put it in my freezer so it's ready to go. And sometimes I'll just leave it in portion sizes. Sometimes I'll season it. Depends on my mood, depends on my time. But that definitely helps to keep the budget down and also get, good produce. Okay, so we want to limit our processed food and ultra processed food and eating out, right? So if you're really on a budget, I know it looks convenient to buy those processed food little meals and stuff like that, but I'm telling you, fry up some eggs, scramble some eggs, and serve some vegetables with it, and that is a really nutrient dense, delicious meal that was made by you, not by a factory. All right, so there is a difference. And there's so many super simple things that you can do at the beginning of the week, like cooking up some steak, cooking up some chicken, cooking up some rice, cooking up some beans, and just having those staples ready to go in your fridge. Because I know oftentimes we're like, oh, I don't have any time, so I'm just going to buy this, frozen dinner, or I'm going to eat out. And really, when you do plan ahead, it really does make a difference, because this stuff in your fridge freezer is more accessible, like cutting up vegetables at the beginning of the week. All right. So it's also really good because then you're more in charge of your portion sizes and the ingredients that you put in there. So I love making my own yogurt, my own bread. What else have I been making lately? My own bone broth, right? And it's just something you just get in the habit of doing. It's not hard, right? It's just how does it fit into your lifestyle? And then the other thing, which I'm going to do episodes about, is that when you cook at home, you reduce the amount of additives in your diet, right? And these additives can exacerbate symptoms of menopause and really affect your gut lining. So I don't know what episode I'm going to tape, but it's coming up and really talking about really avoiding a lot of the crap that they put in our food. Oh my gosh, they've really just wrecked our food supply. It's really unfortunate, but I think you have to be smarter. When you're smarter, you're going to save more money and you're also going to be healthier. All right. So, a couple of other things that you can do are pre-package your own snacks. So you can just get a homemade trail mix. Oh my gosh, I have an amazing recipe for homemade granola bars on my website. Perhaps I'll attach that on there. And then getting back to whole fresh food or fruit, sorry, instead of the purees because we don't have to chew them, all this kind of stuff. So whole fruit, um, uh, and nuts and seeds and raisins and cranberries, whatever you want to put in there. Oh, another huge one is stop buying yogurt, like flavored yogurt. Just get full fat, plain yogurt, add your own vanilla, your own honey, your own oats, a mashed up banana, which I love doing, your own fresh fruit, and put it in, get some mason jars. And then you just get home from the store, you get your big tub of yogurt, you put it into your mason jars, and then you can pull it out, ready to go. Add some honey and cinnamon in one of them, add some fresh fruit and granola in another one. So it's there's lots of things, and I really truly believe this is a skill to it's just interesting sometimes when I talk about this stuff that I just think is so, I don't know, normal, and people are like, oh my God, I never thought about that, right? So maybe this is new to you, maybe it isn't, maybe you've picked up some ideas. But hard-boiled eggs as well, that's another thing. Cook 6 of them at the beginning of the week. Cut up your veg, make a couple yogurts. Get a quinoa salad, the whole salad in a jar thing. Make some smoothies. Cut up, do some meats. Like I said, lots of strategies that you can do to reduce your food budget and eat healthy. Okay, so in here, yeah, they talk about some low cost, nutrient rich all stars, right? So we've got our eggs, our canned fish, a whole chicken, right, is way more budget friendly than buying bits and parts of chickens, tofu, and steak. Okay, so those are some great protein choices. Some carbs are some rice, some lentils, potatoes. I just did this. I cooked up a bunch of potatoes and stuck them in our fridge. And it's actually good to pre-cook rice and potatoes because it does resistant starch, which is good for your belly. So that's good. Do some beans, and you could even make some oats or overnight oats. Some great vegetables, cabbage, make some coleslaw, carrots, beets, lettuce, frozen spinach, really helpful. Again, you can freeze your own spinach. You can freeze a lot of your own produce. Some fats they recommend here are sunflower seeds, peanuts, ghee and butter, full fat milk and yogurt, and olive oil. So having those on hand, really good, low cost, nutrient rich. Having some bananas, some apples, melon, oranges, and frozen berries. Again, you can freeze those berries in the summer and have them all winter long. And then always great to have some onions and garlic on hand. I plant garlic in my garden. Spices can really, give a punch to a meal. And herbs, start your own herb garden. Put a planter on your deck and do that. And then having some citrus around. I always have lemons and limes in my fridge. All right. So, one thing that I'm big on, if you ask all my friends, is food waste. I am not a fan of food waste. So, this is one reason when you meal plan and then you plan your grocery list, you're actually going to use the things in your fridge and freezer as opposed to getting distracted and buying things that you might not normally need or use, and then you end up throwing them out. Now, I freeze some of the things that maybe, like spinach, for example, I may freeze it if I don't get to it in time. Or if, unfortunately, if things do go off, or if I've just, I'm trying to think of something. I don't waste a lot of food, but I also have a compost. So anything that doesn't get eaten does go in the compost. But I am a saver of food. I can throw a meal together with a lot of a lot of leftovers. All right. So again, that depends. Some people like leftovers, some people don't. And then, as I mentioned, some of you may can. I'm not particularly into canning, but that is a great way to take produce in the summer and have it all winter long. I'm more of a freezer girl, or making bulk granola that I can eat over the next couple of months. So there's definitely some foods that you can just have for a couple of days in your fridge that you can put into freezer for months, like meat, and that you could actually, for years you can do jams and pickles. I used to do a lot of dehydrating. I haven't done that lately. Maybe I go back to that. Smoked and cured meats. So there's lots of different things. And this is why I say you can never be bored, because you can learn how to use a dehydrator to preserve meat, right? Or to dehydrate meat, make cured meat, learn how to ferment things, right? So I'm on my journey of, doing more and more and more. And you can be on your journey and just start where you are and just start to add. That's it. Okay, and then in this PDF that is attached here, there's 3 delicious budget-friendly recipes. Roast chicken with root vegetables and a yogurt dill sauce. So they give you the ingredients and the instructions. There's a tuna and rice salad bowl with apple slaw and caramelized onion vinaigrette, which sounds lovely. And then there's a spiced lentil carrot soup with yogurt and crispy onions. So pick up this PDF, check it out, and eating healthy during menopause doesn't have to be expensive. I always say to people, you get a bag of chips and a bag of carrots, they cost the same amount of money, okay? And it's just that you don't want to eat the bag of carrots. You want the chips. That's a whole other conversation. That's the hedonistic eating. That's the treat. That's your affiliation to that food. I'm not saying don't buy chips or junk food. I'm just saying that a lot of people will say healthy eating is expensive, and I can tell you that you can go buy, I think a chocolate bar is $2.50 now, $2.50, okay? And you can get in season blackberries for $2.99. So that is one thing that I'm talking about. Um, Making your own water, like having your own water and sprinkling some lemon and getting some mint from your garden instead of buying flavored water. Like there's just endless things that you can do to reduce the amount of money that you spend on food and eat healthy. All right, so with some thoughtful planning, some smart shopping, a little bit of creativity, you can nourish your body and manage your menopausal symptoms effectively. And remember, every small step counts. So start with 1 or 2 strategies and then go from there. And then just a reminder that my living libations, you can go to livinglibations.com/vibrant living to pick up. They're beautiful, beautiful products. And like I said, if you need some help with the dry brushes or the skin care or the hair care or the teeth care, please reach out to me. I have tried many of them and I have my favorites. All right, ladies, thank you for listening to me today. If you found these tips helpful, please share this podcast with somebody that could benefit from it, and rate and review my podcast. And together we can make this journey through menopause smoother and more empowered. So I will see you in the next video. Have a beautiful day. Bye.